DJ Smallwood, Slingin Dirt Media here with Chris Steffen. We're somewhere hotter than hell in Arkansas. We're at Old Number 1 Speedway. What are we, kicking off week number 4?
Yeah, day one of week 4, yeah.
Man, so I know you had to take a few days off last week. What's going on? Catch us up.
Yeah, 11-hour drive to northern Wisconsin. Rained out the first day, ran Saturday, ran Sunday, 15-hour drive back here last night. And here we are, just in time.
Here we are. For week 4, we got a few different tracks. Have you been here before?
I've not. This week is a fun one. I hope Mother Nature plays nice, because today's new for me, Benton tomorrow's new, Paducah's new, Clarksville's new, so I get 4 new ones this week if we...
Nice. So just keep adding those numbers up.
Yes, sir.
So this is you've ever been to Arkansas before?
Yeah, been to Batesville and been to West Memphis. I've been to a couple tracks in Arkansas. Yeah.
Okay. So it's hot. We got a lot of stuff going on here. Different tracks this week. We've lost a couple of our regular guys. They're going out doing different things. So we lost Fager. We've lost Turbo. Mm-hmm. So does that open up some doors, you think, for some of these younger kids to finally get that first win?
Yeah, it was interesting. The track that I ran my event at Saturday, Sunday is where Turbo was racing today. Okay. So we crossed down the freeway as we were driving. But you know what? Yeah, it does. I mean, it's certainly, you pull him off the tour. He's won 7 of them, right? So you pull him off, and it certainly will open the door. This week's a fun one anyway, because we're at tracks a lot of these guys have never been to, whether it was Fager or not, or Turbo or not. You've got Kyle Beard, who's his home racetrack. He lives 12 miles that way. Yep. You've got some really good guys at these home racetracks over these next 4 or 5 days.
Sure. And we've got a new guy stepping in a late model tonight, too. Tell me about that.
Let's talk about Logan Seavey making his late model debut today. We walked by his car today. He was scheduled to race a Castrol race that was rained out, postponed at Lincoln, which is now next week. But 2-time Chili Bowl champion is going to make his late model debut here in Arkansas today. That's pretty cool.
Good. That's exciting.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. What about some of the other guys? Like we've seen, they're right there. Dylan McCowan. He's right there. I think this could be his night, possibly.
Yeah, agreed. He's followed the whole thing. He's unloaded. Kai Blight's back. He missed a couple nights last week, but he's back full time. Just kind of walking through the pits over there. David Payne, of course, he's an Arkansas guy who runs here. Sure. The Carpenters are both back there. I saw Daniel Adams up there. And the modified field we haven't even talked about, that's going to be an insane field, too.
There's definitely some stout drivers in both classes. Going to be a great show tonight. Make sure you check it out. Yeah. Then we're on to week 5 next week.
Yes.
It's too early to talk about.
We're inching our way there.
Yeah. We'll get through this week first, and we'll talk about next week. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Yeah,
DJ Small with Slingin Dirt Media. We're somewhere hot down in Arkansas. Man, what is it? Harrodsburg, I think it is. Harrodsburg, North Carolina. We're at Old Number 1 Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hot here. I thought I've been to some hot racetracks. It's hot here. Humidity's not bad. It's just the temperature. It's warm. So I'm catching up with Carson Brown. Carson's running the Hell Tour this year, so a great opportunity. We get to catch up here and talk about him and a little bit of his history. And Carson, what do you think, man, so far?
It's been a lot of fun. The Hell Tour has definitely been one to enjoy and one to remember.
Yeah.
It's definitely not easy. It's definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And just living on the road, I've really never lived on the road while racing. I mean, I've raced a lot. I've raced over 100 races a year in the past, but doing this is definitely a different animal.
It's different doing it like every single day, too.
Right.
Not having that 3 or 4 days of going home or that week to go home and your shop and get into your normal routine. This isn't every day. You're on the road. So I haven't been home in like 3 weeks, I believe, something like that. So it's definitely, this is the first time I've been gone like that too. I mean, I did some stuff last year that I was on the road, but on the weekends.
Right.
Not for like a whole month at a time.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I think we're on the road for a month at the moment because I went to Offroad truck in Wisconsin. So
Yeah. So I heard you do some other stuff.
We left like a week before, so yeah, I've definitely been gone a while. But
so tell me about that. You race off-road trucks as well.
Yes, I race off-road trucks as well. That's really in Wisconsin. There's some in South Dakota.
Yeah.
It's a lot up north, but those are a lot of fun. Jump in, road course.
I've always said if I wasn't going to do some kind of, if the gods and the moons and the stars all lined up and I could make my career just race whenever I wanted, if it wasn't like dirt track racing like this, I could see the off-road trucks or the rally cars being really fun to drive. So it's got to be a blast to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're a blast. It's funny because as a kid, I've always watched them and I've always looked at them and man, that's really cool. But I never really thought I'd have the opportunity to race one or drive one. It's kind of one of those things. Like they do it West Coast, up north. Never really thought I'd be driving one. So to be able to hook up with Ryan Beat and to build a truck for me, and it's just been a really good experience, and really looking forward to it. I think we're about halfway through the year in off-road trucks, so these next few races are going to be fun.
So how many races do you guys have on the schedule for the off-road stuff?
So it's 8 weekends a year, but it's really a half-week-long event. So you show up Wednesday, Thursday, and then you race all the way until Sunday, and then you go back home. So there's really 16 races because they do 2 a weekend.
2 a weekend,
It's a definitely interesting layout compared to this.
So is any of that stuff, as far as the driving and the hand skills, eye-hand foot coordination, is that any of that are you able to transfer any of that over to driving a dirt late model?
Not really. It's funny because the track conditions and everything are way different, because those trucks, they want to be in the fluff, they want to be in the ruts, they want to be in the crap you wouldn't want to be in a super.
Opposite of a late model.
Yeah, complete opposite. So you kind of chase the brown in these, but you can't get too deep into the cushion. In off-road trucks, you're setting it in the cushion.
You're setting it in the cushion.
You want to be in it because the tires can go through it. So there's definitely a lot of different ways to drive it and how you
Total different personalities.
Totally different. Yeah, they're way different personalities. So it's really cool to learn and adapt to both.
Which one do you like best?
It's hard.
How you doing? Hey, come on in.
It's hard. I mean, everybody asks me the same thing, and you can't even compare. They're so different in their own aspect. They're just so different. There's really no comparison. So they're both a lot of fun for their ways.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say, and I don't really want to say.
But, you don't want to say it.
Yeah, it's hard.
So, Crew Chief Randall Edwards says hi, everybody. I've known Randall for a while. We're kind of from the same area and stuff, so Randall's a great guy. I always like being around and hanging out with Randall whenever the opportunity's there.
Yeah, he's awesome. We're very fortunate to be able to have him on board.
Yeah, so having an experienced crew chief like that's got to make some of the late model stuff. I mean, how much experience do you have with the late model? You're what? How old?
So I'm 15 right now.
15. Okay.
I started with Marler last year.
Okay.
I was Mike Marler's development driver for 7, 8 races.
Right.
However many it was with Delk Marler.
Yep.
In that development team, so I was kind of the first and only driver for that. So that was really cool to run with.
That's got to be a great place again to get your feet wet, get in the door with a
100%.
A team like that's established and really knows the ins and outs.
It was awesome to be able to go in there and drive, and Mikey knew a ton about racing and dirt late models. And, it was cool to be in that program with such experienced people. My first time I was on track, I was with these really good guys. So Mikey's taught me a lot, and he still helps out here and there whenever we're at the track together. So it's a cool relationship we have, and a bond, and we can kind of just talk whenever, and it's cool. So.
Hey, Mike, here's what I'm thinking. Well, give me your thoughts on this, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he helps out whenever I ask for it. And, he's just awesome guy to talk to.
So we've talked about, before we started recording, we were talking about different tracks. Have you raced I feel like I've seen more of Illinois in the last few weeks than I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
The tracks are a lot different. I mean, we've seen some different racing here on the Hell Tour. Everything from like Fairbury to Macon, Highland, the big track like Red Hill. That was completely different. Which one of those do you feel like kind of fits your driving style, or do you prefer more?
It's funny, so I'm not sure, because on asphalt you're running bigger tracks, and I'm from asphalt late models and dirt micro sprint cars and everything, so I'm used to the small borings and I'm used to the bigger tracks. I'm not used to the bigger tracks on dirt, but I'm used to tracks that big and 200 lap races and stuff, so it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, Macon was a lot of fun.
Macon was a lot of fun for everybody.
I love the borings, I love the small tracks. There's times in the super late model it kind of pains me to know what we're putting the cars through. Because a micro sprint car, they're built tough, they can handle it. You're not banging off your spoiler, you're not losing anything.
It's not bumper cars in a circle.
Right.
Like
I mean,
Macon.
In a micro you can kind of beat around, and you're not ripping off a whole right rear. You're kind of just losing a wheel cover at the end of the day.
But I also feel like somebody just had the conversation with last week, and we were talking about Macon, and it's like, man, I have never seen so much carnage, and it being, that was racing. I mean, these guys were racing like that. I couldn't imagine. I know they've said like maybe back in the '90s they said that thing has went like 80 plus laps with no caution, and I'm like, gosh, I feel like I was getting a thumb cramp from hitting the caution button so much.
Right. Yeah, it's tiring. I mean, it's boring, and you're up on the wheel all the time.
Yes.
So. It was a really cool track to experience. I feel like a lot of people know Mighty Macon.
Yeah.
Even just watching that flow race thing,
Sure.
B-Shep flipped, I was like, whoa, that's a cool track. And
it is.
One I want to go to, but I'm kind of like, should I go there?
And I'm not trying to put shade on the track whatsoever. It's just that's the type of racing. That's the product that you get. Yes,
right.
It's on a great show for the fans.
Right.
Farmer City. I love Farmer City. I think Farmer City, if it just had maybe a little less water this time, but if it had better lighting, I mean, God, that place is. I like it. I like it a lot. It just, man, the place just gets really dark in the corners.
Definitely put down a lot of water. At night with no light there, I mean that dirt is black. It's black. Yeah. It's funny. I've always loved Midwest dirt, and we're from the East Coast, and it's all just clay and everything.
Yeah.
So when we come out here, it's kind of a luxury to see the black dirt.
Sure.
It's really cool. But
have you seen, or have you ever been to Boone, Iowa?
I did not. Never been.
It's another black one.
Yeah.
They have mulch in the track, like black mulch. It helps with the moisture too. And I'm like, I would have never thought of that, but it's like, yeah. So you walk out on the racetrack like afterwards, you can see the mulch in the racetrack. It's like that's different. You know?
I mean, I've heard of all these tracks with sawdust.
Yeah, different stuff.
Chicken. Manure and stuff. So I don't know about the chicken manure.
I don't know about that one. That's a different kind of farm in there.
I've heard of some weird stuff these tracks are doing, but I mean, if it works, I guess it works.
If it works, it works. Keep on doing it. Right.
So,
like Farmer City is, again, not trying to put shade or anything, but it was dark for us as a fans watching it, and then from the tower. Now, being out on the racetrack and being able to see out the car, is it any different? Because you maybe see a little better than we thought you could see, or it's still dark there too?
It's definitely dark. It's funny, I've actually been playing around with visors on my helmet just to see like what helps.
Yeah.
I'm with like an iridescent pearl on my visor. It definitely helps. Okay. But man, it's still dark. I mean, you roll out for a feature or something, you know it's nighttime. Sure. And the tracks definitely, some aren't very well lit up, and that's kind of another product of dirt racing. So
Sure.
It's kind of just how some of these tracks are. I mean, it's definitely not easy to put light around a quarter-mile track.
Correct. It's not.
Make it right.
I had one of those. I had both. I had the clear shield and I had the orange, like the amber shield. Okay. So like it really, I felt like if it's dark, like on a cloudy day, it just makes it look like a sunny day.
Right.
But at the same time, it also, I felt like I couldn't see the contrast of the dirt. Couldn't see the colors in the dirt that I needed to see. Versus if I had the clear on, it's way easier to see the brown you're looking for versus the brown you don't want to see.
It's funny because helmet technology is actually going pretty far. I mean, the helmets probably don't look like it. It just looks like a bucket going over their head.
It is a little bit more than a brain bucket.
Right, it is. But technology is definitely gone far. Like the visor I have is purple. There's some like yellowish ones. There's some blue tinted ones. Yeah. So mine is a clear purple. Is what it is. And it actually brings out the brown and actually makes it more clear. Because typically when you put a visor over, like across your helmet, it makes it hazy. Yeah. And it's hard to see stuff. And that actually makes it like clear. Yeah. And like and the helmets are so much better than, I mean, I had a nice helmet, but man, I didn't have the fresh air systems and stuff like they have now. Yeah. It's like almost everybody has it. It's like, how nice is that? A lot of people have the fresh air systems on their cars, so we have one, we just haven't put it on yet.
Right. And I've seen like they have them hooked up to seats now too. Genius with the fresh air pump through your seat.
In NASCAR, they have the cool suits and everything. Pump cold water. It's like a radiator and all through your suit.
People don't realize the money and the technology they just put it into the store. I mean, it's probably.
I mean, on asphalt, I see it.
Yes.
Dirt, you don't need it. But I mean, when I race asphalt, the car can get up to 130, 140 degrees in the car. It's hard. Yeah. It's not easy.
It's abusive.
Yeah, it's not easy being that hard in the car, and racing that many laps. So I can see why they use them and see why they need them. But you definitely need to be able to run with that one. Sure. I've seen many drivers have them their whole the whole time,
Yeah.
and every single race, and then it goes out or something happens with the
Right.
whole system, and then they're screwed, and then they
Right.
have to pull in because they're overheating.
Yeah, they're
It's like,
Drivers are
I know, right? So it's definitely interesting, but I'm glad that these dirt cars aren't too hot or anything.
Right. At least you get the air coming in, so you're not completely enclosed with windows and all that stuff. So you're getting some air moving
Yeah,
through the
it's
car.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely way better than asphalt.
So some micros, off-road. You said you've done some asphalt stuff. Now you're in super late models. What's the future looking like? What kind of plans do you have, or what would you like to have?
The main two are off-road truck and dirt super late model.
Okay.
I think dirt super late model is definitely top priority right now.
Okay.
With the short amount of races and a truck schedule, we're trying to get all those in.
Yeah.
But definitely dirt super late models.
Super late models.
That's the plan. So
Very good.
yeah, we're trying to keep those at the top, and then micros are really just a filler right now.
Okay.
They race on
Just
Wednesdays.
something to play with.
Yeah, they race on Wednesdays, and unless you're doing this tour, you're typically not racing on Wednesdays.
Where do you race those out on Wednesdays?
So Millbridge Speedway is really the main.
Okay.
That track's cool. I feel like a lot of people know Millbridge.
Millbridge, yeah.
Being on the wall 24/7.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of videos.
I enjoyed a lot of the micro, and it's just a filler. So
Yeah.
we enjoy it, and then we're still racing, but we're kind of taking a break from the hectic stuff. So we enjoy it a lot.
Good deal, good deal. Well, Carson, I don't want to take up much more of your time. I know you and the crew got other things to do, and you got to get ready for racing tonight. I'm going to be heading to the tower here shortly. Drivers meeting, registration, all that great stuff. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time and talk to me and tell me a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Thanks for talking.
Yep, no problem. So, race fans, still on the road. Dirt Car Hell Tour, wrapping things up. We got a couple of weeks left, so we're going to try to get a couple more of these interviews in with different drivers when we can. But, man, like I always say, we'll see you at the track next week. Thanks.